So, although I studied Latin for 2 years in high school, and I was actually quite good at it, I didn't realize that gratitude and grace come from the same root. Or if I did know it, I forgot. But it makes perfect sense that the two words are not only interrelated, but also deeply intertwined. So, grace is defined as unmerited favor. So it's like Jesus feeding the 5,000 without ever asking if they believed the right thing or thought or acted in acceptable ways. Contrary to the ideas of some folks, Jesus did not expect people to give him anything in return. He fed them because they were hungry and because he could provide nourishment. And because of this and many other stories and what happens to us every day when we wake up every morning, that is why divine grace is so amazing and beggars the imagination. Unfortunately, Catholics in the past tried to nail down the definition of grace to a transactional arrangement between human beings and God. We perform rites like the sacraments, and God gives us grace, kind of like doles it out in return. But this belief leaves out a good part of the truth. Sacraments, while meaningful and comforting, are only a small sampling or a reminder of the bounty of God's grace, which comes to us pressed down and overflowing into our laps, regardless of what we do. And because God is God, the divine does not require or expect praise or love or some other human response. We might engage in behaviors like that because it makes us feel good. But the fact of the matter is, we cannot ever repay God for the divine's free-flowing divine grace. And thus, our response should always be, and whenever you say the word simply, it comes with a whole lot of connotations, but our response should be gratitude. And few would doubt that the feeling and the expression of gratitude is not always easy. So often we get lost in the thicket of life, which kicks gratitude to the sidelines. How do we practice thankfulness in what seems to be a thankless world? There are so many things that we don't appreciate, so many things we wish didn't happen to us, to our communities, and to our world. And it is so difficult to give thanks when people are suffering and recourse seems so far away. And yet, all that opens before our eyes every day has been gifted to us and to everyone else. The rain, the rising of the sun, indeed the generation of life itself. My truly wonderful yoga teacher, Kathy, often shares seasonal poems with us, along with her very considerable yoga expertise. And she directed us to a website called gratefulLiving.com, and it's really worth going on for a bit if you have some time, whose purpose is to bring well-being and peace to the writer's life, and by extension to families, communities, and the world. And the 5 principles of grateful living on the website are worth mentioning. Life is a gift. Nothing is a surprise. The ordinary is extraordinary. Appreciation is generative, and love is transformative. And so, my beloved community, try to greet each moment gratefully, and don't ever take anything for granted. Let us all try to remain open to wonder, even as the cares of the world tend to jaundice our eyes and burden our hearts with pain. Tend to those people you value, and those you value will thrive. Most importantly, when you embrace the great fullness of life, the gift of the natural order of the universe given to us by God, your heart will overflow with gratitude. Through the practice of gratitude, to paraphrase the poet E.E. Cummings, the ears of our ears will awaken, and the eyes of our eyes will be opened.